Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In this video we're talking about Game Boy Advance, Nintendo Switch, Madcatz, and more. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off here talking about Game Boy Advance emulation on PC for Windows, Mac, and Linux with NanoBoyAdvance, and NanoBoyAdvance just got a brand new update. So version 1.7 has just dropped, and this is a pretty big update. It's the first update since August of last year, and they say this is a major release with lots of code changed. Please back up your save files before updating to be safe. If we take a look at the changelog, there's a whole lot of stuff listed here, including some UI stuff. So they've implemented a use integer scaling option. They allow limiting the screen scale. They allow accessing the menu during full screen gameplay, and they allow setting a custom save folder. For those who may be unaware, NanoBoyAdvance is free, it's open source, it's a cycle accurate Game Boy Advance emulator that focuses on accuracy, so basically trying to be as true to the original as possible. If you haven't checked out NanoBoyAdvance, I'll leave a link to it in the description below, and I do recommend checking it out. Next up, we're still talking about free and open source, but switching over to Android, and this really isn't an emulator, but that's okay. It's called AdAway, and version 6.1.0 just released. So in this new release, there's a whole bunch of updates. They've improved the settings user interface, and they've added an adaptive launcher icon. If you wanted to pick it up, it's free, it's open source, it's available on GitHub, and I'll drop a link to it in the description below. Moving on, and we're talking about Wii U emulation with Cemu, and if you play Cemu on Linux or even on the Steam Deck, which I guess is also Linux, you're gonna like this update. Cemu is now available on Flathub, which will make installing this emulator a heck of a lot easier. Next up, we're talking about Nintendo Switch emulation on PC with Ryujinx. At the time of filming, version 1.1.684 is the latest update, and we've got a whole bunch of fixes here for Vulkan and also some controller fixes. They fixed centering the D-pad on some Xbox controllers. And this update also allows some copycat DualShock 4 controllers and possibly other gamepads to work natively on Ryujinx. Next up, if you've got a PS5 and you like Dead Cells, you might be happy to know that Dead Cells Return to Castlevania appears to be getting a physical release. I am kind of curious to see if there's anything special with this PS5 release. Next up, we're quickly talking about ASUS, and if you're in the market for a new gaming phone, the ROG Phone 7 apparently is coming on April 13th. We don't have a lot of details yet about this phone, but we're assuming it's going to have a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 in it. And last up, but not least, we're talking about Fightsticks of the week. And there were a lot of cool fight sticks this week, but here are some of my favorites. This is a pretty neat and very well done coffee table mini arcade. It's basically an all-in-one set made out of wood and finished extremely nicely. And the screen on this one is removable. You can play this in vertical mode if you want. And here's an absolutely gorgeous Panzer Fight Stick 4 made for L.I. Joe. And if you take a look at the case here, it's made out of metal. It's finished very nicely, and I like the artwork. On top of that, there's a brand new Pico fighting board. It's based on the Raspberry Pi Pico, has open source firmware that's incredibly fast, and also features USB-C. And there's a very interesting video on YouTube here from Jason Hicks tearing down the brand new Madcatz TE3. I'll drop a link to it in the description below in the event that you wanted to check it out. If you're interested in this stick at all, I'd highly recommend checking out the video. After seeing the video of this brand new fight stick priced at approximately $300, I can't recommend it. It doesn't look good at all. I'd recommend something like the Hori Fighting Stick Mini over this. I'd recommend a Mayflash F300 over this. Honestly here, this is not like the Madcatz TE2 or even the original TE. This is something else altogether, and I don't like the direction Madcatz has gone. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely any of it in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos, don't tempt fate, save your state.